Okay, so there's this unseen danger that's probably lurking right behind your washing machine as we speak. It's quiet, it's completely out of sight, but man, it is actually one of the single most common sources of catastrophic household water damage. If you own a home, especially right here in San Diego, this explainer is absolutely essential viewing. Let's dive in. Hundreds of gallons, literally. Because if a washing machine hose fails, it doesn't just politely wait for laundry day. A burst supply hose can pump several hundred gallons of water an hour directly onto your floor. I mean, just picture leaving for work at 8 a.m., the hose lets go at 9, and you don't walk back through the door until 5 p.m. You are coming home to an absolute disaster zone. So why exactly does this happen so suddenly? Well, a washing machine supply hose isn't just some regular tube that water passes through every now and then. It's a pressurized line. It is literally holding back your home's full water pressure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's not your actual washing machine doing the heavy lifting to hold that water back. It is the hose itself. Every single minute, that material is under immense, constant stress. And over time, that round-the-clock pressure basically wears the hose out from the inside. Which brings us to Section 1, San Diego's unique plumbing risks. See, the invisible enemy hiding right inside your walls is water pressure. Your household plumbing, and that includes those rubber laundry hoses, is generally designed to operate happily somewhere between 50 to 70 psi, or pounds per square inch. But the reality? Well, in many San Diego homes, we're seeing municipal water pressure readings of 90 to 120 psi right at the tap. That is nearly double the intended stress. That extra strain just constantly sits on the hose, speeding up the fatigue of the material. Honestly, if you've been hearing banging pipes in your walls or dealing with shower cartridges that wear out way too fast, that exact same aggressive pressure is currently chewing away at your laundry hoses. And this high pressure ties into an even bigger local issue. As we all know, San Diego is notorious for its extremely hard water. Over time, that hard water leaves this crusty mineral buildup on the threaded connections at the valve and the washer inlet. This corrosion turns a perfectly tight seal into a slow drip and eventually a major failure. Plus, think about this. A lot of older homes in inland areas like El Cajon and La Mesa have their laundry setups out in the garage, sitting directly on a concrete slab. Why does that matter? Because if a hose bursts out there, the water doesn't just drain away. Slab construction means the water actually wicks sideways, right under the wall, and floods directly into your finished living spaces before you even realize there's a problem out in the garage. All right, moving on to Section 2, Warning Signs of Hose Failure. Okay, so here is your rapid-fire mental checklist. The next time you have a spare 5 minutes, pull your washer out a foot or two from the wall and just look at it. Are there any bulges or soft, spongy spots? If so, that is the rubber failing and ballooning out. That hose is running on borrowed time. Look for dry rot or surface cracks. Check the metal ends for rust or maybe a damp ring, because that's a slow leak announcing itself. Are the hoses kinked because the washer got pushed way too far back against the wall? That fold is a huge weak point. And finally, age. If you honestly don't know how old they are or if they're those original black rubber hoses that came in the box with the machine, they've got to go. Standard rubber hoses harden and blister over time, and honestly, they need to be replaced every 3 to 5 years. No exceptions. Which naturally brings us to one of the most common questions homeowners ask when they realize their standard rubber hoses are basically ticking time bombs. Should I upgrade to braided stainless steel? The answer is a definitive 100% yes, and here's exactly why. Standard black rubber is fully exposed to the elements and all that pressure, so it swells and blisters super easily. Braided stainless steel hoses, on the other hand, wrap a rubber core inside a tightly woven metal sleeve. This metal jacket physically resists the bulging and bursting way better than just bare rubber. It's the standard upgrade literally any plumber will recommend to you. But here is a crucial detail that a lot of people get wrong. Even braided stainless steel hoses need to be replaced every 5 years. Yeah, they aren't invincible. The rubber core hiding inside that metal can still degrade over time, so you really have to treat them as a wear and tear item, not some permanent fixture. Let's pivot to Section 3, Emergency Steps for Burst Hoses. Okay, if the worst happens, these are your strict emergency orders, and believe me, order matters here. Step 1, shut off the water. Turn those 2 valves behind the washer clockwise immediately. Now, if they are super old and seized up, do not sit there fighting them. Run straight to your home's main water shutoff valve and just kill the water to the entire house. Step 2, cut the power. Unplug the washer or go flip the breaker. Standing water and live electricity are a literally deadly combination. Step 3, start drying instantly. Grab the wet vacs, towels, fans, whatever you have. The faster you get water off your floors and drywall, the less it permanently soaks in. And Step 4, document everything. Take tons of photos before you start cleaning up, just in case you need to file an insurance claim later. Hey, speaking of valves, here is a really fantastic preventative tip. People always ask, should you turn off the water to your washing machine between loads? Yes, absolutely. Remember, a hose only bursts while it is under pressure. So shutting off those valves when you aren't actively doing laundry completely removes that constant, round-the-clock strain. It is literally the cheapest insurance policy you can possibly have. The only real downside is that turning manual knobs every single day is kind of annoying, so people tend to forget. Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, Prevention and Local Repair Costs. The financial contrast here is honestly pretty staggering. If you hire a professional plumber right here in San Diego to replace both hoses with braided stainless steel, it typically runs somewhere between $75 and $175. And honestly, most of that cost is just the trip charge and the labor, because the hoses themselves are only a few bucks. Upgrading to a really convenient single-lever shutoff box, that runs about $150 to $400. Now, compare that to the bottom line. Water damage cleanup after a burst hose routinely runs $1,000 to $5,000 or more, especially once drywall, baseboards, and those massive professional drying fans get involved. A cheap preventative fix is just absolutely trivial compared to the total nightmare of water mitigation. And look, while swapping a hose is a totally reasonable DIY weekend job, there is immense value in having a licensed San Diego plumber handle this for you. Because they don't just swap the hose, they actually solve the root causes. They can install that single-lever shutoff box we just mentioned, which lets you turn off both the hot and cold water instantly with one super easy flick of the wrist between loads. But even more importantly, they will check your home's overall water pressure. Because if your house is sitting at 120 psi, just putting a new hose on doesn't fix the core problem, right? That new hose is just going to fail eventually too. A pro ensures the actual environment your plumbing lives in is safe. To wrap things up, let's just reflect on a key takeaway from our source material. A burst washing machine hose can flood a room in minutes. The good news is it's cheap to prevent and the warning signs are easy to spot. You now have the knowledge to spot those signs. You know exactly why you need to look out for bulges, why checking your water pressure is crucial, and why you really need to respect that 5-year lifespan of even the braided steel hoses. So I'm going to leave you with this final, really critical question. Do you know the exact age of the hoses hiding behind your washing machine right now? If the answer is no, or if you just can't remember the last time you checked them, well, your homework is pretty clear. As soon as we finish this explainer, walk over to your laundry room, pull the machine out just a few inches, and take a look. A 5-minute inspection today could literally save you thousands of dollars and months of absolute headache tomorrow. Protect your home, stay proactive, and thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.